This time 5 years ago, I dropped a video on what I believe is the greatest swords and sorcery anime of all time, Bakuretsu Hunters or Sorcerer Hunters in America. And out of that anime's Spooner Continent universe came a very obscure and entertaining anime OVA. It's called Sorcerer on the Rocks, which is also known as Chivas 123. Now in a nutshell, it's basically what happens if you remix the Bastard story, if you heard of that OVA, but place it in the vibe of Sorcerer Hunters instead of the vibe that Bastard had. So this is a different crew of Sorcerer Hunters from the one in the original TV series with my boy Carrot in them. This world is almost similar to that of Inuyasha. I especially get that vibe when I was watching the original Sorcerer Hunters, but if you just replace the whole feudal Japan thing with the fantasy magic world, you got it, where they venture into unknown territory and run into foes who initially mask themselves as nimble and not a threat. But yeah, you know how that turns out. And instead of them being demons, they got this little diamond lodged in their forehead signaling that they are a sorcerer. Anyhow, in this world, you need sorcerer hunters. Now, with some backstory on the Spooner Continent, the Spooner Continent developed these magic abilities and stuff during a time period of war. So they were going through war or whatever and transcending down generations upon generations, centuries past this war. This is what has created the kind of like with the jewel shards and shit with Inuyasha, right? This is what has created a lot of evil where people want to use the magic to do evil. So enter the sorcerer hunters that has to come in now and control that. And Chivas and his team would be some of these people that have been summoned. Now, Chivas has been summoned himself to slay this vicious monster in terms of, the contents of this OVA. And that's what fulfills the action portion of the anime. But simultaneously, his spirit is compromised as it's been forced to enter his female fan service counterpart. As somewhat generic as this story plays itself out, you do see a twist somewhere in the final minutes that will blow you away. Overall, this anime has an aura of being a side story of what is happening with the Spooner Continent while Carrot and them are doing their thing, in the Bakuretsu Hunters series. Now, the trick to this, actually it's a huge gimmick, is that Chivas, Scotch is his name, Chivas, just like our guy in Bastard, he's almost an anti-hero, mainly because of how much of a fucking asshole he is. I mean, I like it and all, but a lot of people might find this off-putting because it teeters on the fence of him just doing way too much and the writing going out their way to make him the biggest piece of shit in the world. He just be saying some of the rudest shit, and sometimes it's just totally uncalled for, I will admit, but, me personally, I like it. Now, on top of this, he's very overpowered, which is extremely generic, of course, right, for this type of show. But what does work is the fact that they wrote him to have the issue of his spirit transferring to his assistant girl. So I guess that serves to nerf him from overkilling his enemies too easily, because obviously that'd be too easy and boring. Anyways, this was obviously never written to be aired on TV because, there's nothing about it that's up to TV standards. You know what I mean? Well, maybe today it'd be fine, but back in the 90s, nah. Where the moral compass and decency is kind of concerned. So it's very obvious to me why this never saw the light of day, as far as beyond just being a straight to video, and also why it probably never got its own TV series. Because, Bakuretsu Hunters didn't really do too much, Actually, in some ways, it could have probably done more. Now, I love this OVA personally, man, and I've watched it several times over the years. It's only about an hour, and it's pretty entertaining. And a lot of it is because the art and animation are top tier, and the action is also something that I would put among the top of OVAs from that time. It's going into the realm of X 1999 and those type of, things as far as like magic and, swords and sorcery. And I actually feel like this was better than Bakuretsu Hunters in terms of the action. Bakuretsu had an issue where it constantly reused animation, like the character transformations and whatnot. And then when they would fight, it would be pretty bare bones. But with this, it kind of just really gives you the full scope of what you're looking for. Coming out in 1999, it represents some of the peak offerings in anime, right before that shift from that style of art and character designs and also having hand-drawn animation compared to digital. Yeah, man, go check this out. Incredible. Like the video, comment down below what y'all want to see next. I'm out. Thanks for watching Anime Back When.